Hello everyone, this is Colin once again. I'm making this video because I've decided to go through more of Ahmad's Quran 3's material to just look and see if what he's saying is honest and things of this nature. Now, I would like to point out, first off, I'd like to thank every subscriber, Muslim or non-Muslim, friend of mine, who have sent me messages, personal messages, or comments in the comment section, pledging your assistance to the task of refuting Ahmad's Quran 3. Thank you all very much. I look forward to communicating with you in the future with this topic. Now, in the description section of this video, I'm going to have 3 links. The first one is to Ahmad's Quran 3's own website called inthenameofallah.org, and specifically the section with which I'm going to be talking about today. Second is a link to my one video where I have archived in the description section of that video all the videos with which I have refuted Ahmad's Quran 3. The third one is the newest video I have done, which outlines my new video series with which we're going to be refuting Ahmad's Quran 3 and his book, which will start in January. Having said all of that, I want to point out something. Now, if you go to the link inthenameofallah.org, and you essentially check and see this particular section. It's called Islam Wants Total War. And I'm not going to read all of his notes to the reader. You can all read those yourself, and I actually will copy and paste them into the description section. What you find is he basically is saying that he's going to be using one source. And again, he actually emphasizes this 3 times. He's going to be using quotations by the chapter and verse from the translation of the Quran sanctioned by the highest religious Muslim authority in Saudi Arabia. And in his first point, he describes this translation. They use these brackets to say when it's referring to a Jew or a Christian, or helpful parentheses for explanation. That is the Noble Quran, and I have it here. In fact, I have the newest printing of it, and I also have one of the oldest printings of it in a pocket size edition, just to compare in case anything has changed in the explanatory notes. So this is the one he uses. Now, I find it very interesting that not a single time in the entire article does he name the translation. He just describes the translation. It's like that like slipped his mind or something. Now, does he? Now, I'm not saying he never actually references it. Who knows? Maybe in other places in his website he gives it due credit, but he doesn't give it due credit in this article where he is describing it. He could have just said, this is the Noble Quran translation by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, but he doesn't. He just goes about explaining it. Now, if he's using another translation, okay, fair enough. But I'm not aware of any other translation of that sort of, that's actually okayed and manufactured by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, so that would be new to me. Now, having said that, it's my charge that he claims in his point 6. I'm going to read point 6 to you. The tragic fact is that most decent human beings find it almost impossible to believe, and that an alleged holy book, such as the Quran, could possibly contain so much hatred, anger, injustice, and immorality. The inability of ordinary, decent people to comprehend, let alone accept the reality of the total of depraved indifference that is shown by the Quran towards all human life in general, but vis-a-vis the unbelievers in particular, is beyond their imagining. That is why I have attempted to put together most of the relevant warmongering, hate-mongering, and insulting verses of the Quran under one single heading. Anyone who has studied the Quran will know that none of them have been taken out of context, changed, perverted, or tampered with. Those who have not read or studied the Quran can easily verify the veracity of the following verses by actually reading them. In summation, in the year 622 AD, the first warmongering verse was revealed, that which is called the sword verse, chapter 9, verse 5. And he quotes it. But when the forbidden months are past, and fight and slay the pagans wherever you find them, and seize them, belliger them, and lie in wait for them in every stratagem of war. But if they repent and establish regular prayers and practice regular charity, then open the way for them, for Allah is all forgiving, most merciful. End quote. Ahmad's Quran 3 continues. Muhammad in his Quran declared total and eternal war against all those who do not believe, in parentheses, unbelievers, in Allah and in Muhammad as his messenger. Those who are not followers of the cult of Muhammad are given 3 choices. 1. Convert and be saved. 2. Submit to eternal and utter humiliation for the people of the books, such as the Jews, Christians, and Zoroastrians. 3. Death, enslavement, and forced conversion to be inflicted upon Hindus, Buddhists, animists, atheists, and the like. It is left to the reader, after investigating, comparing, and contrasting the Quran and the Bible and other available references, to make up one's own mind, and then he jumps into the verses. Now, I want to point out here that this is kind of interesting. He just said, and this is why I posted the link for all of you, because I would like you as my viewers to correct me if I'm wrong. Say, Ozzy, I think you're misreading him. Please do that. Please tell me if that's correct. Did he not just say, did I not just read to you that he actually said that he was not going to be taking any of them out of context, none of the verses will be out of context, and that he has not tampered or perverted any of them, and that he just admitted he was using this translation? So if we can establish that he's using this translation, and that in his article he will not be perverting, changing, or doing anything, or taking any of them out of context, then that is, if that's what we can establish, we can continue. So at this point, please pause my video, look at what I just read to you, his 6 points, then think about, did Ozzy just represent this article correctly? Then push play and continue. Now let's look at chapter 9, verse 5. It's funny how he did take this verse completely out of context. He didn't change any of the wording, but he took it out of context. I don't think Achmet's Quran 3 understands context. Context is when you take something from its original place or holding and you remove it, and it's then completely voided of meaningful explanation based on the information surrounding the said sentence or verse, or it's totally voided of its historical context, theological context, and things of this nature. This all equals context. Achmet's Quran 3 does not even give the following verses, chapter 9, verse 1, 2, 3, 4, or 6, which would illustrate the entire context, nor does he give the historical context of what was going on, except that it was revealed in the year 622 AD. So he's already falling off the wagon with his declaration, and the article hasn't even begun. Now, why am I making this video? You're probably all asking at the moment. How am I refuting him? Well, I would assert you need two things to actually really look at this video. You need his website, and you need a copy of the Noble Quran. And when you do that, you will find that almost every single verse that he quotes is not only completely out of context, he also adds his own words. So like I said, if we have established already that this is the translation he is using, and that he did just say that in this article he will not be adding anything, perverting anything, and that we could just check it up and see the veracity of his statements, then why is it that he adds himself the word Jews and Christians without when they don't actually exist in the verses he's quoting? In fact, when you look at the first couple verses, the word Jew does not exist in those verses as found in this translation. So what does that mean? It means Achmet's Quran 3 is now a liar. He just stated he wasn't going to add anything, yet now he is. And my favorite one, ladies and gentlemen, my favorite one is when he attempts to quote chapter 5, verse 55. Let's read it. Please go down and see how he has quoted it, and let me read to you how he has quoted it. O you who believe, do your duty to Allah and fear Him. Seek the means of approach to Him, and go on a jihad in His cause as much as you can, so that you may be successful. That's what he says. That's what he says. That's how he quoted it. But is this really how it appears? Chapter 5, verse 55. Verily your Wallahi, protector or helper, is none other than Allah, His messenger, and the believers. Those who perform prayer, give zakat, they are raki'un, those who bow down or submit themselves with obedience to Allah. Well, that's not chapter 5, verse 55. But wait, he was trying to quote chapter 5, verse 54. Fair enough. Let's see if chapter 5, verse 54 says that. O you who believe, whoever from among you turn back from his religion, Islam, Allah will bring a people whom He will love, and they will love Him, humble towards the believers, stern towards the disbelievers, fighting in the way of Allah, and never fear of the blame of the blamers. That is the grace of Allah, which He bestows on whom He wills, and Allah is all-sufficient for His creatures' needs, all-knower. So, where does it say go on jihad as much as you can? Interesting. I guess Achmet's Quran 3 really didn't quote that faithfully in a non-perverted change fashion, did he? And by the way, they're all taken out of context. So really, for those of you who are watching me and you are part of Achmet's Quran 3's group, I think Achmet's Quran 3 thinks you're an idiot. I think he thinks that you're not going to look up this stuff by yourself. Why don't you prove him wrong? Why don't you bring this up to him and say, why did you state one thing on your website, but then when you actually did the article, you actually went against what you said you were going to do?